Thank you.
Hey
We're
guys,
saying
thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Well, congratulations, Aether Studios, on your overwhelmingly successful Kickstarter. What a monumental achievement that has left us all in shock and awe. The only thing that we're all asking now is, well, now what? Wagwan, y'all. It's Dimz. And yes, you've heard me right. The Kickstarter for Rivals of Aether 2 has finally concluded. And, well, we already knew in the first day they met their goal, but it's finally over. And they met tons of goals, and they were overwhelmingly successful, hitting that $1 million milestone. Well, today I'm going to talk about what comes next. Or rather, I should say, we are going to speculate about what comes next, as well as giving a realistic overview of what can we expect to come next, and just some of my thoughts in general about everything. So, if you're looking for some content to help you fill the gap while waiting for Rivals 2, then you should stick around and give my channel a subscribe, because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of content when it comes up to the lead up of Rivals 2 and after. But also, be warned, my channel isn't only focused on Rivals content. I do other content as well, which I hope piques your fancy. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. So, like I asked at the beginning of the video, what's next? We got the successful Kickstarter, and now we're just waiting for Rivals 2. But what Rivals 2 are we waiting for exactly? Let's do a quick overview of the things that we are realistically going to expect. Well, the first thing is, we expect the game in 2024, because that's kind of the first milestone. As soon as the Kickstarter was fulfilled, it says the game will release on PC in 2024. I am assuming this is going to be late 2024, most likely Q4. But, we are expecting the game in 2024. Next thing we're going to get is more gameplay of Rivals 2, especially a new build of Rivals 2 that's going to be available at Genesis X, or the 10th iteration of the Genesis Tournament series. Since Rivals 2 is going to be available to have a pre-release tournament at Genesis 10, which is going to take place in San Jose, California on February 16th through February 18th of 2024. So if you're attending that tournament, make sure to sign up for some Rivals 2 if you want to get some hands-on gameplay. I assume there are going to be friendly setups of Rivals 2 so other people could just play outside a tournament. So that's one easy way for you to play one of the newest builds of Rivals 2. Next, everyone's getting a free crack skin. So whether if you back the Kickstarter or not, as long as you own the game, you're going to unlock a free crack skin. It's going to be a football crack skin. However, looking at the wording on this tweet, it seems like it's only going to be unlocked for users in the launch window. Obviously, I can be wrong, but the best way to make sure you get it is make sure you get the game around launch window. Then we have the biggest milestone achieved. A 10-character launch roster. Since the Kickstarter did hit $1 million, we are getting a launch roster of at least 10 characters. If you were to ask me, I would say we would have still got the 10-character launch roster even if they didn't hit the 1 million and just been hovering around the 900,000. But they hit 1 million, so we don't have to worry about that. They even let us know hints on who the 4 characters that are going to be added is going to be through mini milestones. And based on the hints they gave, yeah, it looks like my previous video when I was predicting the 4 characters is pretty darn close. The only character that's pretty much outright confirmed is Orcane, since he did leak in one of the tester builds. And the Aether Studios teams kind of realized they can't really put that worm back in the jar, so that's our pretty much confirmed character. So that means we are getting 1 returning water character in Orcane, we are getting 2 returning fire characters, and we are getting 1 brand new fire character. For launch, that is. Based on my predictions, and like I said in my other video, we can chop up the returning fire characters to be Clarine because she's really popular, and Forsburn because not only is he popular, but he is story relevant. That only leaves the brand new fire character, which we can predict is either going to be Artemis from Dungeons of Aether, Loxodont, the big bad of the Fire Capital, or just a brand new, never before named or seen character that is Fire Element. Based on my predictions before, I would just say it's going to be Artemis. Because I believe Loxodont is going to be a character we're going to get probably a year into Rival's life cycle. I don't think they're going to just give us the big bad from the start. I think they're going to build up to him a little bit and maybe give the game some time to breathe and find out how people are playing the game so they can actually make the character as good as possible to either counter the meta or just play along well with the whatever meta that the Rivals 2 establishes. One thing I've noticed is a lot of people is kind of feeling the sentiment that that's a lot of love for the fire elements. That's a lot of love for the Fire Nation. And yeah, I kind of said it before, but kind of all of the current established lore is just gravitating around the Fire Capital and the Fire Nation. They're really focal to the current Rivals lore. So we're going to get a lot of those characters until they flesh out the lore for all the other nations, which looks like they're not in the biggest hurry to do, but I feel like it will come in the future. Because they have left a lot of crumbs of lore for all the other nations. But, they're just crumbs. Something for them to build off of later. But, just keeping all their options open and the possibilities pretty vague. So, they won't have to work too hard about retconning things. There are other little things that you can expect if you backed at certain tiers of the Kickstarter, like merchandise, plushies, unique player icons, or even unique respawn platforms. But we're not going to go over through all that. Next, I'm going to talk about what you should not expect. What are we not getting? Suffice to say, the milestones that did not get reached, we should not expect them at launch. So that means we should not expect ranked mode, character tutorials, arcade mode, or the first chapter of the story mode at launch. Which, this could be a good or bad thing based on your perspective. Let's start with the good. The good thing about this is that they are going to focus on the things that are coming at launch, whether it's the characters, the gameplay, and rollback netcode actually working. Aether Studios will be able to fine-tune these things and make sure they are completely working in the best state possible without having to worry about or diverting resources to other areas to make sure any other modes are ready at launch. This means that there is a high possibility that there's going to be no crunch or no rushing to make sure that everything that is expected at launch is available at launch. Well, let's look at this from the bad perspective, as in, the only thing that we're going to get at launch is basically versus mode and online versus mode. That's pretty much it. Obviously, I'm not saying this as a fact, but I'm saying it as a realistic expectation, because there's no other modes that they have hinted at or said that they're going to add as far as we know. So we are just basically going to get characters, costumes, and a really good versus mode. So this does not really bode well to the casual market at launch, that is. Because with no arcade mode and with no story mode and I guess no character tutorials, you're not really getting much of a casual friendly game at launch. Now, I'm not saying Aether Studios can't come out of nowhere and just, maybe add items to the game, make bigger or casual friendly stages, or even make modifications or modification options to the versus mode so we can play different types of versus modes than just the standard. They can indeed do all those things, but right now we are tempering expectations to just exactly what we've been told, a realistic look of what to expect at launch. And it just doesn't look very good for the casual market at launch. And like I explained in my little hour-long video about Rivals 2, focusing on the casual market is very important. They have done a great, even stupendous job when it comes to their tournament goers or their hardcore grinders, which I am one of. But the casual market, just to play the game for fun, there's not much there currently. In Rivals 1, it took them a while to actually get those modes, and those modes actually attract a lot of players. That and workshop content in general, but that's very, very open-ended and casual friendly, and we are definitely not getting workshop anywhere close to launch. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 recently just came out, or NASB 2, and they made sure to launch with a replayable story mode, and they even have items in their versus mode. Because they know it's Nickelodeon characters. A lot of people aren't going to be hardcore grinders. But, with all the mechanics they put in the game, the tournaments for that game is actually pretty amazing to watch as well. I absolutely love Rivals and the whole little IP of the Aether games. But I fear that what happened at the beginning of Rivals 1 might happen at the beginning of Rivals 2 again, where there's not a big appeal to the general or casual audience. Like there's not enough things that will suit their fancy. So that crowd probably won't show up until later when these extra things are added. If they show up at all later. But hey, they do plan to add these modes. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on the independent developers that I love. I mean, they was able to raise $1 million on Kickstarter. They must be doing something right. Anywho, that will be the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I will be making more videos as I try to fill in the gap as we wait for Rivals of Aether 2 or even the open betas, because I love Rivals, I love the of Aether games, and I love you if you subscribe and come along with me on this journey. You all have a great day.